2, 1, action!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sinead Says podcast. Before we begin, I would love if you could give us a review on this podcast. We are an independent podcast, so anything that you can do, like subscribe or give us a little review, that really helps us. So thank you very much if you've already done that as well. Thank you. So this week we're going to talk about self-love. So the self-love podcast has been brought on by, I am doing a self-love challenge in our meditation hub. And I just loved reading the little comments of what people were achieving, how they were feeling, and just people talking about self-love in general can bring up a lot of self-healing. So I was just really inspired by the Brave Way members and all their hard work at the Self-Love Challenge to have this guide to self-love podcast, because I feel like I haven't done like a full podcast on self-love. Like there's all these different ways I do talk about it, but there's no like, here's the little guide and here's my own story of self-love. And I think listening to other people's stories of self-love really does inspire and help others. So I thought I would start with my own little journey of self-love. Okay, so what is self-love? So self-love is the practice of nurturing and caring for oneself unconditionally. You cultivate acceptance, forgiveness, and compassion towards oneself. It's recognizing your worth and validating yourself, embracing your strengths and your weaknesses, and just prioritizing your well-being. You know, for example, a person that loves themselves would treat themselves really well and look after their well-being. And because this podcast is all about self-love, I'm going to take a minute to talk about our sponsors, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that has helped me massively on my self-love journey. The app is so easy to use. You can text and call your therapist and arrange time so easily. And there's also loads of little grouping hours in there to help you on your journey to self-love. Self-love is about setting boundaries, getting to know yourself and knowing who you truly are and living up to your full potential. You owe yourself that. And this is why therapy is so good. It has helped me so much with boundaries, people pleasing, and it's helped me realize my own worth and my own value to be the person that I am today. So if you would like to join therapy and be the best version of yourself, you can get 10% off your first month with betterhelp.com/Sinead. That is betterhelp.com/Sinead. So why do we want to obtain self-love? You know, why do we need to go on this journey of inner, because a person who doesn't love themselves or who isn't on this journey of self-love will be more inclined to have times of unhappiness, anxiety, and sometimes they could be a little bit angry, disappointed. And why is that? Because they usually get their worth and validation somewhere else. So someone who doesn't love themselves usually tries to validate themselves and their worth through the love of other people, through their work, sometimes through bad habits like alcohol, addiction, any sort of bad habits. So a person who truly loves themselves is looking somewhere, is looking outer to external sources to find that validation. So, when we're younger in our first relationship, we usually are using that other person as a way to get our own worth. And then throughout the years, we realize that we need to have more resilience and we need to love ourselves a bit more. We need to give ourselves more credit, more compassion, more love. But that first relationship or those first few relationships that you have when you're younger are usually that person in front of you. You are so attached to them because they give you worth and they give you love. So you're really attached to them. So if you're even in a relationship right now where you attach so much worth on that other person loving you, then that's when kind of you need to have a look and begin this journey of self-love. And why are these people that don't have self-love feeling a little bit aggy, feeling a little bit disappointed? Because relying on something else to give you validation is completely unstable. So you're usually left disappointed, you're angry, you're aggravated, you're very sensitive. Someone who validates themselves through their success and work, you're not always going to make your boss happy. You're not always going to get the promotion. Things cannot always work out in your favor. So then comes this feeling of absolute worthlessness, after a breakup, when someone has so much worth on that person loving them or a job or money, anything like that. These things come and go. So then if they're taken away from you, like different times of your life, you'll be left with this like feeling of unbelievable dread and horrendous feeling. And I've been there before, and that's why I feel so strongly about the self-love journey, because when I started my self-love journey, it's like this big ball of energy just surrounds you and nothing can get into you anymore, not like it used to, because you have your self-love, you have your own worth, you know that you are a unique, amazing person that is on this earth and brings joy to this earth, brings something to this earth. And when you feel like that, all these little things that happen in your life, like breakups and your job doesn't work out or things don't work out, then it's fine. It is always going to be fine because you have your validation of yourself. And that's why you always see people as well, like, you know, in relationships, people who really have their own self-love will say, oh, I'm going to be okay if we break up. I'm going to be sad, yeah, but I'm going to be okay, because they actually know their worth. They know they love themselves. So when we don't love ourselves, we allow things to happen that shouldn't happen. And we allow people into our lives. We break boundaries. People walk over us because we rely on them to like us. And we don't like ourselves that much. So we need them to like us. So we continue to take the bad behavior over and over again. You might know someone who, like I have people like in my inbox saying, "Can you please help me? My friend is with this, excuse my French, asshole. He does this, he does that, he treats her like crap. She is amazing. She is amazing." And I know in that moment that girl does not love herself, because a girl that loves herself and knows her own validation would never, ever stand for that. And it's funny as well, because, you know, if someone is treating you bad and you leave, sometimes that's seen as like a weakness when you leave a relationship. I know when I left my last relationship, someone was like, "Oh, you can't even keep a relationship. Like, you're meant to be a relationship coach." And I remember thinking, no, I love myself. And if someone is not treating me right, I can walk away, not a bother to me. And that's the kind of stage you want to get to. You know, there's only so much that you can take to know that, you know, I completely 100% do not deserve this. And it's amazing, because when you feel like that, the person that then you be with is amazing, because you have high standards. So we want to get to that. We want to get to that point. So how do we get to that point? I'm trying to keep this like this podcast nifty so that it's like a little 20-minute-er, but we're only at the beginning. I'm going to go through a few different steps of self-love. Number one is self-awareness, all right? It is becoming aware and introspecting all your thoughts. And now, guys, if you've been listening to this podcast for how many seasons, you will know that I'm hoping that you're all introspective of your own thoughts. You question your thoughts. The moment that I began questioning my own thoughts, that is when the ball game changed. Because when I went on this journey and I started to be really introspective of my thoughts, obviously I started journaling. So journaling is your best friend on your self-love journey. So you firstly need to write down all the thoughts that you think about yourself and start to question them. You know, people, especially women, have this journey to self-love through body image. And when you start to look at where you got this belief that your body should be a certain way, because all my life up until I was like, I don't know when I started my self-love journey, but I definitely defined myself by my body. And I was in this state of, I need my body to be better. I need my body to be good. Like, without my body, then no one's going to think I'm nice. I need to have this body. And constantly, like, with the damaging behaviors, all this stuff, because I needed to have this body, whatever. And what I want you to do is, like, where did that come from? Right? Questioning, why do I think that I need to look like that? Because of society, because of the way the media portrays bodies and women's bodies, and sometimes people's words. So you internalize people's words around you, especially when you're younger. So no fault of our elders in our lives, but like when I was younger, obviously people talked about weight that was in magazines, this person's bikini body, oh my God. You know, my mom always talked about, she was always on a diet. She always pointed out fat and said, oh my God. So of course I'm going to think that if I have a bit of body fat, then that is seen as unacceptable because that's what I internalized as a younger child. So I don't want to get too much into this because I have spoken to that. But anyway, self-awareness is key. So your negative thoughts need to be written down basically, and you need to have more awareness of where they come from. And then you need to be like, stop. Hello, negative thought. Welcome. Hello, how are you? And then you got to say, are you true? Where did you come from? Because the awareness of these flaws being man-made per se, because flaws are man-made. They are made by society to make money, basically. And we all fall for it. Yes, even me, you know? Sorry, guys, but we all fall for marketing. You know, you need to have this hair color and you need to have this outfit and this bag, right? We all fall for it because that's what it is. But it's becoming aware that society makes us feel like that because of what's being portrayed. It's not, I need that bag or I'll be useless. I need that hair or I'll be ugly or I'll not be good enough. We were always born enough. And when you think of an innocence of a child and how perfect and beautiful they are, a lot of people say they start their self-love journey when they have a daughter and they realize how perfect she is and they can't believe how much bad things they say about their body because of, like, we are perfect in every way. I'm so excited to be working with JS Health Vitamins as they are our new sponsor for the Sinead Says podcast. And it couldn't be more aligned. You know how much I'm into my vitamins, into my supplements, and I'm always taking my vitamins and supplements to help me be the best version of me. So today I'm here to talk to you about their magnesium. I've been taking their magnesium for quite a long time actually, because even before I spoke to them, I was taking magnesium for a very long time as it was recommended through a friend. And they're renowned around the world for their transformational science-backed supplements that deliver results. These supplements are created using the highest quality ingredients at therapeutic doses based on meticulous research. They're also designed in Australia and formulated by expert nutritionist Jessica Seppel. They have vitamins for your skin, digestion, stress, sleep, and hair health, and so many more. And if there's one supplement that makes absolutely everything better, it's magnesium. And their magnesium is Advanced Magnesium Plus. It has 3 types of magnesium, carefully designed to support muscle relaxation and recovery, energy production, and nervous system function. We all know that I have been training very hard. I have been running, I have been training, and magnesium has been helping me through this with my recovery and my sleep, and I could not love it more. And if you would like to try any of their amazing products, we at the Sinead Says podcast are giving you 15% off. So if you go to jshealthvitamins.com/Sinead Says and use code Sinead Says, you'll receive 15% off your order or first subscription order. Happy shopping, and let me know if you've tried them. I want to know what you think. So yeah, number 1 is self-awareness. So just starting to be aware of where all these beliefs come from, whether it be, you know, beliefs in where you should be in life, how you should look, any of these things, because once you start realizing that they came from like random magazines or society, you stop believing that you are not enough. You were always born enough, but then society comes and just wrecks it sometimes, all right? Because you look at if you have a child, if you look at your child or anyone in your life who has a child, just that like little innocent child, she's so perfect. And then she grows up and then society makes her try to change because she's trying to fit in. And when we realize that we're all unique individuals and we should all be different, we were all put on this earth to all have different purposes and have this new outlook, then that's amazing. Okay, so the next step is practicing self-compassion, removing shame, removing guilt. So I always like to say that shame if self-love is the heart, then shame is the blocking the arteries. And I love that quote because sometimes we can sit in our own guilt and shame for the way we actually treated ourselves in different scenarios in life. So it's knowing that we are human beings and we are going to make mistakes. And when we actually look and examine our mistakes or anything that we feel shame for, it usually comes down to a lack of self-love and wanting to be loved and wanting to feel validated. Like if you did something that you deem as a mistake, like let's just say you flirted with the wrong person. Usually you're crying out for love and attention. Let's just say you shouted at your mum and you're feeling shame and guilt and you think you're a bad person, like maybe you just wanted to be heard. And I usually think when you examine those moments where you feel guilty, shame, and you feel like you made a mistake, it usually comes down to that, like just a little girl, your inner child just wanting to be loved. And that's why you need to have self-compassion. And this is why meditation is so amazing for your self-love journey. Having that self-compassion for yourself, going into your inner child and just seeing them and just doing that inner child work can be so, so powerful in a meditation. So the next thing is setting boundaries. All right. So what would a person who loves themselves do today? You know, if someone is asking you to do something that you don't want to do, what would a person who loves themselves do in that situation? And just ask yourself that in every situation where you need to set boundaries. Being a people pleaser, I am a people pleaser. I know I'm getting better, guys. Being a people pleaser usually comes down to a lack of self-love because you want them to like you, because that will then make you like yourself. So we need to first of all realize that, and we need to put down some boundaries. We need to ask ourselves what we truly like and we truly love, and then we can start that process. Okay. The next thing I'd like you to do, and I'm going to give some journal prompts at the end as well, so that this will really drive you, so to celebrate your strengths. All right. So many people every day think of the negative about themselves when in fact there's so much positive. And when I'm doing any sort of self-love meditations or self-love, like we're doing a self-love challenge, obviously in the meditation hub. And what I'll ask people to do is to go through their body and celebrate and give thanks to all the little things your body does, because we can look so deeply at the negative things in our bodies, but we don't realize how lucky we are. First of all, getting up in the morning, having that absolute energy to get up, go to work, go for a walk. Some people are not that privileged. So we are so blessed to have that energy. You know, even having, you know, if you have eyesight, you can look at your loved ones, you can see your loved ones, like how blessed we are. If you can smell your favorite dinner and flowers, like you're blessed, right? You can taste, you're blessed. Like, I'm saying this because my roommate can't smell or taste. So like, I am like, you know, sometimes you have to be grateful for the things that you have. And I usually get people to have their own list, all right? So every single day adding to that list, because then it is telling your brain all the good things, and then it will continue to look for the good things, and those pathways will get stronger in your brain, and soon this negative thought pattern will wash away. So it's little by little adding things into your life and to your journal of basically I always say, like, make your own meditation of like all the things, but it is very hard. So even when I'm doing meditations for people, I'm like, okay, think of something you like about your body, right? Now, when I say that, people are blank. They're like, oh my God, I don't know. Then I start to name tiny little things in your body. Like, you may have long eyelashes. You may have nice eyebrows. There's little things on your body and in your life and in your whole self that you can gather up to make your own little meditation, your own little mantra for yourself, which obviously is good to also do mantras, but I'll do that. I'll talk about that. Not mantras, but like affirmations. So I want you to focus on your strengths and everything that you've achieved. So what I would do in my journal every so often is reflect on like the month and be like, okay, what have I achieved? Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I have so much to do, I have so much work and everything is piling up on me, but like I'll look back and be like, okay, this month I have achieved so much. This is amazing. Like, you should just be so proud of yourself. And these things just really, really help. And just embracing and celebrating those strengths. Another step to the self-love that a lot of people don't mention, but I always mention, is to choose love with how you speak to other people and how you think about other people. So it's about choosing love instead of judgment will really help you on your self-love. Because if you're judging another person, I want you to understand how that feels in your body, right? And when you think about judging another person for being exactly who they are, it doesn't feel nice. It feels like poison in your body. But if you actually decide to choose love and acceptance for that person, it's such a beautiful feeling. It's so beautiful and gorgeous. So yeah, it's not about sometimes self-love. Sometimes we can cultivate love within our bodies by choosing love. We can say to yourself, how can I make my partner have a better day today? How can I make someone's day kinder? How can I implement kindness into my life? These little things will fill your life full of love. And when you are being a better person, then you are giving yourself this feeling of love as well. All right. Because then you're gathering evidence for you being a good person, which will lead to you loving yourself more. Okay. Now we're going to move into cultivating some habits for self-love. And firstly, I want you to understand that we're trying to win the inner game and not the outer game. I think sometimes we try to win the outer game. Like, if I look like this, I'm going to love myself. If I get this job, I ain't going to love myself. If I get this relationship, if I get married, it's like, I'll be happy when syndrome. And we're trying to get that outer, when in fact, honestly, it does not matter. Unless you have that inner, unless you win that inner game, like all that stuff doesn't even, like, you can't even enjoy it. And a good example is like, even there's so many parts of my life that I'm like, okay, this is sort of my self-love journey. One of them being, I actually met one of my like idols once. This is like years and years and years ago. I can't even remember. I remember it's in my journal, and this person to me, and when I was in like the fitness influencing world, this person to me had the perfect body, like the was perfection. All right. And I was like, oh my God, she has everything that I want, that I thought I wanted. And I actually went up and asked her for her photo. And she says, oh, no, I feel fat. I remember thinking to myself, what is the point having that body if you can't even enjoy it? If your mindset is not there, then you don't have it anyway. There is people out there that you think have what you deem as the perfect body, the perfect life. But because their mindset is not right and they haven't won that inner game within themselves, then, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. That really, it's something I remember so strongly in my mind. I remember thinking, you know what, Sinead? If you can't enjoy it and you can't accept yourself, then this whole revelation happened to me that day. It was just like, it's mad because you think that these things are going to be making you happy, but they never ever do. And now in my own self-love journey, I feel like there's so many different aspects to my life that I've accepted. So something that you wouldn't believe that started my self-love journey, not started, but like was something, I feel like there's all these different aspects that add to your self-love journey. One of them being diagnosed with a chronic illness that affects my body each and every day. So obviously you probably know that I have endometriosis and adenomyosis. And I did define myself by my body at some points, like in like the way I look. I did define myself there sometimes because I felt like when I started my career and my journey, I was fitness and, I had to look this certain way if I wanted to be in this industry. But when I got diagnosed with a chronic illness that affects my body for the rest of my life, I had to take my body out of my worth equation because my body's not going to be 100% all the time. It's going to be in and out of these fluctuations for the rest of my life. And that is when I realized that I am not my body. And that is when I stopped putting my worth on my body because I felt like at that point I had lost it. It was like they had it. I think I was in a bit of a despair then. But then I realized that people still liked me. Like my family, my friends, all still really, really love me. And when you realize that, it like is just so amazing. So I know a lot of people who define themselves by the way they look in their body as well. And that is so unstable because, things are going to fluctuate. We're going to get older. And if you put your worth onto the way you look, then you're going to be having a midlife crisis when you get a bit older. And people do get like that. People who define themselves by their looks and feel like people like them because of their looks and their body get to a stage where they have this midlife crisis, right? Because they can't keep this up. And then they have this big revelation. Or a lot of people say that when they have their first child, they have this revelation because like they see how amazing the body works and stuff like that. So how do we get from, defining ourselves by our body? And like usually if you're defining yourself by your body and your looks, like you will notice that like you don't want to go anywhere if you look different from your full standard, like your full makeup, your full glam. And, if you're not at your peak weight and you don't want to go anywhere, you just feel like you feel worthless. And I've been there. I felt worthless. And when I had put on weight, I remember even not wanting to see my friends. Like I used to come home from Spain and tell my friends that I couldn't see them because I actually felt so embarrassed that I had put on weight. That was because I was defining who I was with my body, when in fact my friends do not care that I've put on weight. And even, you know, on Instagram, like I used to not, if I put on weight, I wouldn't talk as much, I wouldn't put my body up. And then when I started my self-love, self-acceptance journey, I was just like, whatever, put it up. Like no one cares. Like, and also when we do meditation, self-acceptance meditations, I have this meditation in the Brave Way 21-day course, and it's a self-acceptance meditation. And basically what I do is like, you're in a meditation, and like imagine you're in a meditation right now and you're relaxed and you're chill, whatever. And you imagine your best friend, right in front of you, or someone who you love so much, partner, friend, mother, father, anything, right? Imagine them right in front of you. Then imagine them complaining about what they deem their insecurities. And I'm sure you have been in this position before where one of your friends is complaining about their skin or their weight or like they're a spot, right? And you just look at them. You don't see their imperfections. You don't see what they think is a flaw. You see them. Just accept them and you just completely love them. Self-acceptance is such a powerful tool, but it can be so hard to get there. But usually I like to look at how you see other people, how you see your partner, your friends. Like sometimes my boyfriend comes down the stairs and his hair's everywhere. He's just farted. And she's like, no, you can't cope with him. And I'm like, no, I know, but like it doesn't matter because I actually just love every part of his body, and every day I love him even more. And no matter what he does or what happens, no matter how much weight he would put on or take off, like you just love them and you just could just squeeze the bones themselves. But that's how other people feel about you. But you just have to accept that first. You have to understand that you are not loved because of how you look. You're loved because of who you are. So I just want you to remember that for your self-acceptance. And like, I want you to know that you are valuable. And when you know that you're valuable, that's when the self-love begins. Because when you value yourself, you love yourself and you treat yourself better. You know, a person who's valuable, you treat better. We're going to quickly go through a few habits, daily affirmations, the strongest 2 words ever, I am. Whatever you say, I am, you feel it in your body, all right? So I don't want you to say, I am, like nothing negative. We want to be like, I am unique. I am beautiful. I am enough. Like you don't understand how amazing these are for your brain. And you don't think that they work, right? These powerful affirmations, like you think like, oh, I'm just saying it, but your brain does things when you say, I am. So I do want you to start your daily affirmations, all right? We do have them in the Brave Way as well. If you have morning affirmations are there. Meditation is obviously so impactful because you can go deep down to the root of things, and also spending time with yourself is crucial for self-love, because if you can spend a little time with yourself and really enjoy it and do all these wee bits and find out who you truly are in that moment as well. Finding out who you are is so important in your self-love journey as well. So my meditation and healthy lifestyle choices, you know, always say to yourself, what would a person who loves himself do? All right. They would probably look after themselves, eat good food, sleep well, all this stuff. You know, they wouldn't go back to their ex. Yeah. Talking to you. You're listening, you know. Another great habit is creative expression, trying new things, being creative, taking a little time each week or each day to do a little something for you, a little bit of writing, a little bit of music. You know, like when I'm writing meditations or doing podcasts, I feel a fire in my tummy. I feel so good. I feel like I'm in my flow and my purpose. And it's such a gorgeous feeling. And then you start to not rely on other people and other things for happiness, because you're finding happiness in the truly loving things that you love. So yeah, creative expression and your reflective journaling. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few journal prompts to end this podcast. So I actually, when I did my self-love journey, I actually did every day for a year something I liked about myself or something I was grateful for in my body every day for a year. And it changed the way my brain thought about myself constantly, and it completely rewired everything, because constantly I'm beating myself up because, you know, I'm looking and comparing myself to other people. But when I consciously made a commitment to start my self-love journey, I was like, no, I'm going to write down something I love about myself every day. And that's exactly what I did. And it was like something different for 365 days. You know how hard that is? And then I had this like big plan of all the things that are amazing. So start that. Before I do the journal prompts, this is a great book, The Mastery of Love. Started my self-love journey years ago, obsessed with it. Here are some journal prompts. I'll put them below as well. So what are 3 things I appreciate about myself today? How have I shown kindness to myself and others today? What self-limiting beliefs am I ready to let go of? What are my core values and how do they guide my actions and decisions? What activities or practices bring me joy and nourish my soul? How can I set healthier boundaries in my relationship and daily life? In what areas of my life do I need to practice forgiveness, both for myself and others? How can I prioritize myself today? All right, so that's just a few you can start off with. And I just want to leave you there because I don't want to get too much into it, because I'll probably do a part 2 of this. Let me know if you want a part 2 of the self-love guide. And thank you very much. And let me know if you like this podcast, and hopefully I'll see you next week.